Hey everybody, how are we doing tonight? There we are. How's everybody doing tonight? We got Brock, we got Alejandro, we got Troke. What's happening? How are you guys doing?
Good.
Doing good? All right, we got Alec too. Oh, nice. What's happening tonight? You guys watching the basketball?
Not really.
No?
No,
No. Not a basketball fan?
not really.
Okay. Well, tonight, guys, I'm going to need you guys to be participating. I need you guys to be contributing, doing your best to make this an interactive and fun session for everybody involved. So I hope that you guys will jump in and not let it just be me, because it'll be more fun if it's everybody. All right? Sound like a deal?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you guys can go ahead and unmute, because I'm going to be having you guys contribute pretty consistently here. And then if there's any background noise, we can just deal with that. Carl, you there? All right, looks like Carl's just popping on here, getting himself settled in. Hey, Carl. You want to unmute yourself and say hello to the group? We've got kind of a small group today, so don't need to be embarrassed. Hey, Carl.
How are you guys doing today?
Who is this?
Who's speaking right now?
Yeah.
Oh, it's me, Carl.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Carl. I thought Troke had popped on for a second there. Who do we have? Because that's your last name, right? Troke?
Not mine, no.
I know there's a Troke on here. I'm trying to get him to say hello. We got Brock Pavel. Brock, can you hop on and say a hello?
Hello.
Hey, Brock. Thank you. Okay, we got a message from Troke. My audio is not picking up. Okay, so you're trying to say hello, but you couldn't. Alejandro, can you pop on?
What up?
What up, Alejandro?
How's it going?
I'm doing great.
That's good.
Never better. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Are you a Man City fan?
Any team actually. Got Juventus, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Real Madrid over there,
Oh,
Colombia,
wow. Woodbury.
and Selvo, Woodbury, Park.
Right. Just a soccer fan.
Yep.
Nice. I like it. All right. Well, are you guys ready to get started?
I'm ready.
I said, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
It won't finish.
All right. So our topic tonight is P3 thinking. The 3 Ps are purposeful, productive, and possibility. We'll talk more about what those mean. The overall task for tonight is going to kind of be to spend about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes here, giving you guys kind of a outline or introduction to our topic. And then we're going to spend the next 10 or 15 minutes working on a worksheet, or if you don't have the worksheet for tonight, just a piece of paper and a pencil will do just fine. Okay. So gonna blast you with some quotes. You guys know I love quotes. I got 3 for you coming up. First one, the difference between an ordinary player and a champion is in the way they think. Next one, you're gonna make mistakes in life. It's what you do after those mistakes that counts. And then the last one from Mia Hamm, she says, you have to step on the field thinking, I'm going to make an impact today, as opposed to thinking, Mia, whatever you do, please don't give the ball away. All right, so going to get you guys to pop in right away. There was some research experiments done, and they found that successful athletes think differently from less successful athletes prior to and while competing. So I'll give you kind of the background, and then I want to hear your thoughts. The experiment that I read was one that they did with college tennis players, and they had these college tennis players come and tell the researchers what they were thinking about just right after every point. And what they found after they categorized, and got a hold of all this data, what they found was that the successful athletes, the players who were winning their matches, were thinking about significantly different things than the players who were not winning. So I'll stop there. What kinds of things do you think the players who were winning were thinking about?
They're probably just thinking about like positive stuff, like, how I'm gonna hit the ball, all this stuff, versus like, what if I don't do this right? What if I don't, put the right spin on it or whatever? So I think the positive thinking just goes a long way like that.
Sure. So what I heard you say was optimistic thinking like that good things were going to happen. But also what I heard you say, Alec, was thinking about like the right spin to put on the ball. So you're spot on. Thinking about things that they could control, such as how they were going to hit the ball, as opposed to how not to hit the ball, for example.
Yeah.
Yep, you're right on. Other thoughts?
I kind of agree with Alec. It's actually like players actually thinks about how to score or how to score in a goal. They want to win the game. Think about it.
Yep. So things that they're gonna do, how they're gonna score their points. So like in this tennis experiment, for example, you're spot on, Alejandro. These players who were winning, they were thinking about like how they were gonna score. So if their opponent had a poor backhand and they knew that their opponent had a poor backhand, they were thinking about, okay, let's keep hitting his backhand. So how could you relate that thought specifically to soccer?
Let's say the other team has like an attacker and he just maybe like tripped over the ball or something. He's not feeling real confident with his touch.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can like put some real tight pressure on him right when he receives the ball and snag it off him.
Sure. So remembering that maybe a guy's just made a mistake, he's not feeling super confident, and you're ready. Okay, I've got him. Next time he takes a poor first touch, I'm going to be on him. Yep, I like that thought. What about goalkeeper? What might you notice about a goalkeeper that might help you score goals on him?
Maybe like his tendencies, which way he's diving, how confident he is coming out. See how long you have to take a shot, whatnot.
Yep. Absolutely. So that's the type of things, we have to kind of extrapolate this to the soccer field, but those are the types of things that these successful tennis players were thinking about, where like if their opponent was slow, they were thinking about, okay, this guy's slow. How do I take advantage of that? Okay, I need to move him left to right, make him run, because that's not his strong point. So yeah, to generalize, the players who were winning, they were thinking about things that they could control. And the players who weren't winning, they were thinking about stuff that they could not control, such as the weather conditions. Like, oh, it's windy. I don't like playing in the wind. I don't serve well into the wind. They were thinking about stuff that had happened previously, like maybe a bad call had gone against them. The referee called it out. They thought it was in. They were still thinking about that previous point. So if we were going to generalize, again, the players who were successful were thinking about things under their control. They were noticing things about their opponent that they could take advantage of. And the players who weren't successful were thinking about stuff that they could not control. So thank you guys for your participation on that. I'm going to keep wanting you guys to pop in as we move through this. So reminder, the 3 Ps: purposeful, productive, possibility. The opposite of purposeful would be random. So purposeful thinking is about thinking about things on purpose, as opposed to just letting whatever thoughts come into your mind be your thoughts for that day or for that game. Productive thinking is about responding when bad things happen, when things that you don't want to have happen. We want to respond in those moments and be productive with our thoughts, as opposed to just being reactive and letting whatever emotions come out. And then lastly, the 3rd P, possibility, is about being optimistic and keeping your mind focused on the good things that can happen, as opposed to being restrictive and letting yourself think about the bad things that could happen. So our first P here, purposeful thinking, is about what to think about and when to think about it. So quick little exercise here. Everybody don't think about a white bear. Just don't do it. Do not think about a white bear. Did anybody think about a white bear?
Instantly, I did. As soon as he said, "Don't think about white bear," I was like, "Oh, white bear."
Yeah, exactly. So that was kind of the intent of the exercise. A lot of times we want to, or we end up thinking about what we don't want to have happen as opposed to thinking about what we do want to have happen. So this quote here, it says, keep your mind off the things you don't want by keeping it on the things you do want. So can you guys think of an example from a game or from a training session where you thought about what you didn't want to have happen and maybe that thing happened?
I remember this one time I was playing for my old school in Texas, and I was taking a penalty, and I was just like, I'm going to the left. Keeper probably not going to the left, but I think he might, and I shot it, and then he did. Yeah.
Okay. So is there a different way that you would have gone about that experience?
I mean, I think it affected my shot, just that I thought, there's probably a chance that he's gonna save this. So I feel like it affected my mindset versus like how good I'm gonna shoot the ball. I feel like I would have shot it better if I just didn't think about that.
Sure. So if you were just thinking, bury this in the bottom corner, this keeper's got no chance, then maybe you're just a little bit more confident and you keep it out of his reach as opposed to thinking, oh, he might dive that way and he might save it. And so you maybe tighten up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. That's a great example. Can anybody else think of a personal experience they've had with maybe thinking about what they didn't want to have happen? I know for me, I used to take corner kicks from my team and I'd be thinking like, don't kick it out of bounds. Don't kick it, behind the goal, because I think everybody who takes corner kicks has done that from time to time. But if I could do it over again, I would just think about what I wanted to have happen, which was, hit the player I was aiming for. If I step up and go, hit so-and-so or hit the penalty spot, whatever spot I was aiming for, I think it would have helped me as opposed to thinking about don't kick it out of bounds.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, so moving on to the next P, then it would be productive thinking. This is about, like I mentioned, responding when bad things do happen, because bad things are going to happen. You're gonna kick the ball out of bounds. You're gonna miss penalty kicks. You're gonna give the ball away. I mean, this is inevitable. We're not perfect. We're gonna make mistakes. So how do you respond after those things happen? I'll tell you a quick story here. So Tom Watson, which is the guy there hugging his caddy, in the 1982 U.S. Open, he was on the final day with only 9 holes left, and he was chasing Jack Nicklaus. He was a few strokes behind him, and with about, I think it's 6 or 7 holes left in the whole tournament, he had an 18-inch putt, and he missed it. He lipped it out, and but then he went on to birdie, I think, 5 of the next 6 holes or something like that and win the tournament. And he was actually down to Jack Nicklaus, who's probably one of the greatest golfers of all time. He was behind him at that moment, and he was still able to respond and then play so well for the last holes. And the editor of Golf Digest asked him after the tournament, he said, Tom, how were you able to respond after missing that 18-inch putt and then play so well? And he said, well, it's simple. I just thought to myself, even great putters miss the occasional easy one. And he said that was thinking that at that time helped him be prepared to take his next putt and be successful with the holes that he had left to play. So that's just one example. I'm wondering if you guys can think of any moments in games when you're likely to, like, what's something bad that typically happens that comes to mind in a game that you don't want to have happen?
Well, just like I think I said earlier, just like when you lose a ball or something, and then you start thinking about it, like you're gonna get it again and lose it, and you get caught up in it. The ball you start getting stuck under your feet, and then it's just downhill from there. So you just gotta respond, and like you know, I just gotta look ahead, see what's gonna happen next time, try and make it better.
Yeah, so giving the ball away, it's easy to get caught in that kind of vicious cycle of, okay, don't give the ball away. Maybe next time you get tight because you don't want to give it away, but you end up giving it away again, and it's just like, okay, now you're in a rut, you can't get out. So yeah, giving the ball away. What are some other examples you guys can think of like stuff that happens in games that you don't want to have happen?
For me, missing like shots off a cross, but normally I don't get all that many opportunities because I'm usually crossing it in.
Okay, sure. So you do a lot of crossing, so it maybe is a missed cross too. Maybe you cross it and it goes out of bounds, or it doesn't clear the first defender. But then what I heard you say, Carl, was missing a shot. Is that right?
Yeah, like shots off of crosses, so like tap ins and stuff. For whatever reason, I just have a bad time with those.
Okay, nice, good example. And what do you think when you miss a tap in, typically?
All right, I just missed a 3-foot shot. I think I'm gonna go back outside now.
What do you mean go back out? Oh, back outside of the wing?
Yeah.
Sure. That's a good example. Yeah, missing a tap in, not fun. Other thoughts? I know for me as a player, it was like when the referee made a call that I thought was really wrong, and maybe it's just even an out of bounds call where I thought it should have been a corner, but he calls a goal kick. I mean, even as a coach, sometimes it's infuriating, and I get really caught up in that. Like, this referee is terrible. I can't believe we're getting screwed over. Um, but I don't think that really is helpful in any way. So what we're going to do next, guys, we've gotten through the content bit. Going to have you do some work now. So if you've got that handout printed out, go ahead and snag that. If you don't have your handout, no problem. We're just going to work through. You guys get some thoughts down on paper here. So the worksheet looks like this. There's some information, kind of the stuff, content that we just went over. There's some tips to help you become a better P3 thinker. I hope that you guys will look through those tips in your own time. And then there's some exercises. So we're going to pop right into exercise 1. It says, think carefully and reflectively about thoughts and feelings that you associate with good performances. What thoughts and feelings prepare and enable you to perform well while also remaining focused and confident in competition? So go ahead and write down a few personal thoughts and feelings that enable you to perform well and remain focused and confident. Okay, so it doesn't need to be an exhaustive list, just a few to get you thinking about that. And then next, think carefully and reflectively about thoughts and feelings you associate with poor performances. So what are you thinking about, or how do you feel typically when you're not performing your best? Go ahead and write those down. Okay, so that was just kind of to get you guys triggered and thinking about your thoughts and feelings that help you do well and the thoughts and feelings that don't help you do well. Now we're going to get into kind of the meat of the exercise today. So I want you to identify a specific thing that happens to you when you're playing soccer that triggers you to have self-defeating thoughts or feelings? Some examples listed here, like getting criticized by your coach, making a mistake, the refs or officials making a bad call, teammates maybe being critical, or maybe teammates making mistakes. And be very specific in describing the exact thing that triggers you to think reactively or to feel badly. So we heard a couple examples from Alec and Carl there. Whatever it is for you, what pops out to be the strongest one for you? And go ahead and write that down. And once you've written it down, I want you to describe exactly what you think. What do you think in that moment? And then I want you to write down how it makes you feel or how it hurts your performance by thinking those thoughts. Can somebody pop on and share? Maybe somebody that we haven't heard from yet today. What did you come up with? Carter, are you able to join us and speak, or are you in a crowded room again? How about you, Brock? What did you come up with?
I just said like making a heavy touch and then losing the ball.
Okay, sure. So making a heavy touch and losing the ball. And then what does that make you think?
That like I can't keep the ball close to my feet or
Sure.
stuff like that.
Yeah, so it makes you think like, oh, you can't take a good touch. And then how does that hurt your performance or make you feel bad?
I just keep on thinking about that bad touch.
Sure. So you get focused on that bad touch instead of thinking about,
The next touch.
what you need to do next time. Okay. Perfect. You can definitely relate to that. Thanks for sharing, Brock. Henrik, did you want to share with us? Okay, while Henrik's talking about it, hopefully you guys can see the chat. Carter just shared. He said, what really gets me down is the other team trying to chirp or smack talk me. I'm working on trying to improve it, but I keep thinking about it. They are right, and then it affects my entire game. Okay, yeah, so you're probably going to get chirped from time to time. You're going to get smack talk. You're going to have people say you're no good, you suck, things like that. But yeah, how can you? Okay, so then the next piece is going to be what can you think in those moments? So I'm going to challenge you guys. The next piece of this assignment, this exercise rather. Share my screen again. So now go down to the next page, and you're going to use that same thing. So whatever you chose, whether it's getting chirped or taking a big first touch or whatever you chose, it's going to be that same thing. So you can just write see above or shorthand, whatever it was. And then I want you to come up with a replacement thought. So how I can think better in that moment, and write down the specific thought, and then write down how this will enhance my feelings and performance. So think about Tom Watson. You know, he missed an 18-inch putt, and he thought to himself, well, that just shows even great putters miss the occasional easy one. You know, if you're getting chirped, maybe there's a way you can turn that around in your mind to make it something that's going to boost your ego. So it's like, well, only good players get chirped. Like, people don't waste their time chirping bad players. So, you know, what is it you can think in that moment that's going to boost your ego or protect your ego at least from going negative? All right, and then if you guys wouldn't mind popping on and sharing with us what you came up with, I think that usually has a lot of value because people can learn from what other people come up with and then can use it themselves.
I feel like for missing a tap in, there's really nothing I could say that would, I guess help my ego, so to say. But normally I just deal with the ramifications and look to the next play. I'll really, try and make myself feel better about it.
Okay. Well, Carl, using Tom Watson's example, I would maybe challenge you to think about, have you ever seen professional athletes miss tap-ins?
Of course.
Right. So, I mean, I think I've seen Cristiano Ronaldo miss tap-ins. I think I've seen Messi miss tap-ins on occasion. So maybe it's just an opportunity to think, you know what, even great players miss the occasional tap-in. I got the next one.
Yeah, no, that's what I usually do. But I look to the next play. I just don't like, oh, it's okay. You're still a good player. It's just like, oh, God damn it, I missed it. Now I'll just have to, get across the next time and hope someone else scores.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely see where you're coming from. I would challenge you to maybe try to protect your ego a little bit more. Don't just be like, okay, I'm not going to shoot anymore. I'm just going to be the crosser. Because you might need to be, it might be on the other end of the field, or other side of the field, and you might need to be the guy that's getting in there and finishing it off the next time it comes in. So just trying to protect your ego there and think in a positive way that's going to help you respond. But something for you to decide what's going to work best for you. So Connor typed in here, he said, in response to getting chirped, he said, I can think about how people try and smack talk you to get you down. In my mind, they're trying to lower me to their level, but I know I can be better and beat them in the situation. So I like that one. And then with Carl's tap in, I think he said, think about Choupo-Moting from PSG this past weekend. If you guys didn't see that one, basically stopped a goal from going in. He stopped it on the line. It's pretty crazy. Connor Choke popped in. He said, I think some good things to be thinking are the cheesy captain's lines like unlucky or next time and move on from it. Yeah, I think that's true. Next time, going to get the next one. It's unlucky. I think, yeah, it can be cheesy captain's lines, but at the same time, if you really believe that, if you can get yourself to think, next time I'm going to score it or next time I'm going to do it, or if you can get yourself to believe, that really was just unlucky, those can be powerful thoughts. Anybody else want to pop in and share what they came up with? Got a couple more minutes here. Alejandro, we haven't heard from you for a while. You still there?
Yep.
Rumka, we were getting the party started earlier. What did you come up with?
Well, first of all, when I feel kind of pain in my leg and stuff, that I'm having this problem, and I just think about the pain and kind of make me go slower in a game and stuff. I just try harder to not think about it and just let it go through me and just keep trying hard and not let anything go down.
Okay, sure. So your strategy, it sounds like, is more just to not think. So instead of, yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Just try to not think about the pain. Let it be something that you're not focusing on so you can focus on other things.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so I mean, really, you guys know what's going to work best for you. I'm not you, I'm me. And so really, you guys coming up with what's going to work best for you is really the task at hand here. I hope that by putting in some of this work, though, you're better prepared for those moments. That's really the end goal. So there's there's room for more examples. I hope you guys will spend a little bit of time maybe going through a couple more examples, and then, like I said, the idea here is if you could spend some time thinking about some specific thoughts to help yourself in those moments, if something bad happens, now you're going to be just a little bit more prepared. Be like, oh yeah, I thought about this already. I'm going to think this right now because this is something that I already prepared for. So again, whatever works best for you guys, that's really the most important thing. It's not about what I think. It's about what you think is going to help you. But hopefully you got something out of the session tonight. Thanks again so much for popping on. It's lovely to connect with you guys and be here for you. I hope that things are going well in your world right now, in your soccer world and outside of soccer. And I wish you all the best. So thanks a lot, guys. Have a great night.
All right. See you guys.
Thanks, you too.